Live. Yes, we are live. Hello, everyone. Here we are live for the Thursday weekly interview on this Facebook group. Welcome, everybody. If you are with us live, do in the comment below, #live, or if you're just watching the replay, #replay. And please tell us where you're coming from, because we love to know where people are coming from. I personally am in Mexico. My guest happens to be in Florida right now, but I think I'll ask him. I think he lives in Virginia. And so also, if you would like to comment or if you would like to react, allow StreamYard to use your name. All right. And especially if you want to react, we love those loves. So send us a lot of loves. We like a lot of hearts. So my guest today is Dr. Jim T. McCallum Jr. We met, before I introduce Dr. James McCallum, I just want to tell you how we met. We actually met online. We were at a Dream Builder virtual live event last year, 2020, and we happened to be in the same breakout rooms. So we got to talking, and then we connected, and we stayed connected. And so Mary Morrissey, who does the Dream Builder virtual live events and the live events, is our mentor. And I think that James and I actually contacted Mary, I think in the same year. I think if I remember, I'm going to check that with him, in 2017. So here we are, folks. Please say hello to Dr. Jim McCallum. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Lucy. Hi. It's great being here.
Thank you for your time. I know how busy you are. So let's talk about our mutual mentor, Mary Morrissey. I met Mary in Dallas at a live event, her Dream Builder event in 2017. And I think we were probably there at the same time. Were you there in 2017?
Yes. So if it was the Dallas one, that's where I was.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard.
So here's my experience with Mary. You know, I had, in 2015, I had a 10-year breakup that happened. I was totally devastated. Didn't know what to do. There I was, 70 years old. What am I going to do with my life? You know, so I didn't no longer had a relationship. My partner went back to a previous partner, a person who was younger. I was devastated. And so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to proceed with my life. And so I needed personal development help. And I came to Mary through Sonia Rickety. That's how I found Mary. And I loved Mary because I loved her spirituality. She was a visionary, and she helped me change my way of thinking, you know, and I could dream build again. And I could do it with this brave new thinking that she was teaching me. So what is your experience or your circumstance with Mary?
You know how this all came about. I have studied this material for years, like Mary, and for some reason I had never heard of Mary. I mean, I just really couldn't believe it when it came down to it. But I retired as a dean from a small private university in 16. And I had the idea that I wanted to take a little bit of time to read novels that I hadn't read and catch up. But then I wanted to have purpose. But at that time, what had happened was I had been on vacation with my children. I'd been teaching and working with the university for 23 years. I was calling into my dean's office every day to check on things. And it's funny how you remember things, but I remember it was a Thursday. And I talked to my administrative assistant. Everything was fine. And when I hung up, it was like this cloud settled over me, this dark cloud. And I thought, the thought kept going through my head, I don't care anymore. Oh. I just really don't care. And I realized it was probably time for me to retire, but there was fear in that would I have the money to thrive in retirement? And so I continued to work through the summer. And in the fall, they announced they were going to do some restructuring. They were doing away with the deans, but that they had a position. They didn't want to lose me. And it would be the same salary, everything. The only thing that was really changing was the title. And I went back to my office and looked at it and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I retired. And then I realized I didn't know where my passion was. I had no passion. I had passion for my family, but other than that, I felt totally lost. And so I started trying to figure out what I could do to find my passion. And I decided that I'd been writing for years as part of a university setting and that I could blog. So I started looking at blogging, and I was doing that. I was learning about the SEOs of how you get people to come to your blog or your site through when they are searching for something. And in that process, I bought a little program from someone on the internet and got 2 free tickets to that Dream Builder and all. And like I said, I didn't even know who Mary Morrissey was. And so it's strange. I look back now, knowing what I know and having studied all this with Mary, how the universe works.
Yeah.
That I was taking action and moving, but the universe moved me in the direction I needed to go. And so I went to the Dream Builder Live, and it was there that I had a big aha moment about halfway through it. And that aha was that I had not lost my passion had lost me. Okay. And that as I moved up the academic ladder from assistant professor to dean, I had gotten further and further away from my passion, which was helping people realize their dream, helping the students get a degree and finish the programs so that they were living the life that they were hoping for at that time. And I'd gotten away from that. My job was pretty much purely administrative. And that's when I realized that life coaching was what I wanted to do. My sister had been telling me this for years. She saw it more than I did, you know. Mm-hmm. And I signed up for Mary's program right there, and I have not regretted one minute. I've gone on to sign up and become a life mastery consultant later so that I could offer more programs, and I am loving what I'm doing.
That is so wild. I love this. I love people's stories. You know, we all have stories, and it's so great to connect that way because especially people with us. I mean, we're lifelong learners, and we just, you know, we have so much to give. We have so much knowledge and expertise to share with people, you know, and that is my passion, to get, you know, to find these people who are about to retire and let them know that this is just the beginning. You know, the golden years can be golden.
That's right.
You know, they want them to be, and you know, and I have a way, and you have a way to teach them.
Yes.
You know, so it's just so enlightening. I just love it too. So I know that before you got into academics and certainly your coaching, you had a long career, I think, with the forces, right? You're a veteran.
I was a veteran. I served in Korea during the Vietnam War. Again, somebody was watching out for me, but I was on the DMZ in Korea.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you. I had a master's in audiology. I was basically a clinical audiologist, and then went into corporate hearing conservation and did that for several years. So my basic technical field was audiology. And again, this is interesting how the universe steps in. In the 90s, when I realized I was working at a university that I needed a doctorate, there were no audiology programs within 2 or 3 hours of me. There were no online programs you could take, and I was not going to drive back and forth that distance. And so I went to North Carolina State and got a doctorate in adult education. Well, what I'm doing now, it is more apropos than ever, you know. So it just amazes me when I look at these things and see how the universe works.
You know, wasn't it Steve Jobs that said, it's, you know, looking backwards, you can easily connect the dots. You know, it's looking forward that it's a little harder to do. So, you know, when we look back, it's like, oh my God, you know, I've just been led here. You know, it was unbelievable. So, and you just have to be open and willing.
You do. And, but yeah, I had a long career in audiology, working in clinical settings in the VA hospital and corporate settings. I was corporate audiologist for Reynolds Aluminum for 10 years, and then moved over to another product manager where we sold equipment for audiological testing and stuff, and did that, and then was led into education. And a friend of mine that I'd met at a conference was on a search committee and in North Carolina, and called me and said, "We have a position. Would you be interested in applying?" And I said, "Tell me more," and I did. And so I actually live in North Carolina, but I spend half my time in Virginia with my children too, because one of the joys of being able to coach is that you can do it from anywhere.
Exactly. So, it sounds interesting about all those past positions that you had, that they just didn't seem very fulfilling for you. How does one find his or her purpose? Can you?
I don't know, because I had started out in speech pathology and met my wife there, and she was a speech pathologist, and I said, we don't need two speech pathologists in the same family.
Right.
And so I moved over to audiology, and I did well in it. I was happy in it, but I never did feel totally fulfilled. Not like I'm feeling now, and again, I think you just have to take a chance and step out. One of the things Mary Morrissey says, she's got several quotes I love. And one of them, though, is that if you can either live your life by design or by default. So you don't want to do it by default. So if you don't know what you want, make something up, because otherwise you're going to be living it by default.
Right.
And I think that's sort of what I did in my retirement, was that I didn't know what I wanted. So I made something up about blogging, that I could blog.
Right.
And then the universe took control and moved me to where I needed to be. Yeah. It's the same for me. I did not want my circumstances to govern me. They were not going to determine my destiny. I was going to create my own circumstances, and that's what I did too. And, it was really funny, because when I got into what I'm doing now, I had no idea what I was doing. I just kept being led step by step. I knew that I wanted to be online because I had moved to Mexico. I certainly wasn't going to get, I didn't want another job. I had always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My father was, and so, I saw that he worked for himself, and there was great liberty in that, to take your vacations when you wanted, So, but I love teaching. I did I was led into teaching. And I thought that I wanted to make a difference in people's lives, students' lives. Well, you could touch some, but you can't touch them all, that's for sure. Right. No.
But even if you touch one, it makes a big difference.
And that's what I hoped during that time that I did. So often when I was as a professor, my job was also advising, and I would have students come to me and go, "Dr. McCallum, I'm going to have to drop out for a semester, but I'll come back and I'll go, no, we're going to think outside of the box. We're going to have to figure out how to keep you in school, because if you leave, you think for one semester, you won't be back." And so there were a lot of challenges like that I hated that they were having the challenge, but I loved helping them get through it and stay in school.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel the same way today about that?
Oh, I do. I do. I mean, this is one of the things, I think one of the things you asked me one time was how did I find my perfect client and all.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing for me is that I want that client to have a burning desire for something. And if they don't know what it is, we'll figure it out. We'll find it. Another quote by Mary that I have always loved is inspiration without action is merely entertainment.
Absolutely.
I don't want to entertain. I want to help you change your life, and that's where the joy comes from. If I had wanted to entertain, I would have gone into theater. Maybe I'm a Leo, so there's that part of me that.
Oh yes, yes. I know some Leos. My father was one.
Yes, but I love. I want the client to be able to follow me and take the action steps and learn from that, and learn particularly that it's not a 12-week program that I teach. I'm teaching you life skills that you need to use past that 12 weeks we're together, unless you sign up for something else with me. But this is not just a 12-week course. This is life skills that you continue with, and utilize long after we have quit working together or whatever. So I think that's so important. And I have had a client that worked well with me. We were seeing great changes happening. And then after we quit working together, I suddenly was getting word that things were going back toward how it had been, or other problems that were the same. And I just wanted to shake them, and say, hey, what did you learn? Please listen and use.
Well, mindset is so important, isn't it? The mindset.
It really is.
I think it's Tony Robbins that says, especially for entrepreneurs, 80% is mindset and 20% is tactics. And I really do believe that. What do you do to be in the right mindset? I have to practice every day. What is it that you do?
You have to get that mindset. And I think intention is so important in this. I did a 4-day workshop with Brendan Bouchard, and one of the things that I think I came away from that more than anything else was every day you set your intention.
Absolutely.
Every day before you walk into a meeting or you talk to someone on Zoom, you set an intention. And I think that's so important. Again, yes. With coaching, with building a mindset, with whatever, that having that intention.
Well, how do you remind yourself to have the intention? there's something else. How does one remind oneself? Because I have a practice every morning, gratituding and meditating, and I've always had that, because when I used to teach, I spent a whole hour and then I go off teaching and it would all go, I don't know where it went. The traffic got in the way, the kids got in the way, and and all of a sudden, all that mindset would, I guess it was still there, but it would just kind of, I'm a little more intentional now with everything that I do. But how do you remind yourself?
Again, I'm like you. There are times when I forget to set the intention and go into something blind in a way. But one of the things that I have learned tremendously in coaching and working with the programs that I work with is about noticing what you're noticing.
Yes.
And being aware. You can't correct anything if you're not aware of what's the problem that's there. And I think this is one of the things that I have really grown in myself, is that awareness of if I'm not monitoring my thoughts, I tend to monitor my feelings. And if I find myself feeling constrictive, then I look at my thoughts, and I have at times tried to set triggers that would make me think or look at this or set intention. And I'm human,
Absolutely.
I don't always do what I tell others that they might want to do, but
at least we know.
I don't believe in it. It's just that I am human like everyone is, and there are times when I lose that focus or concentration myself when it comes to me. It's so much easier to tell someone else or teach someone else.
It is. My father used to always say, "Don't do as I say and don't do as I do." And I'm used to
right.
That doesn't sound right. When I was a kid, I used to think, "Oh my God, that's not okay." But anyway, I learned why it wasn't okay. Listen, how do you find your people? You have so much knowledge to impart. How do you find the people that you can share this knowledge with?
I am still learning, I'll be honest. I do vision workshops, and it can be any hours. I can do workshops for companies or whatever is needed. And one of the best ways is to do a workshop online now, of course, and get people to register for it. But I am finding I had another little epiphany one night. I was struggling, trying to get this business going and thinking about how do I get clients. And I remembered that one of the things we had been told was don't worry about other coaches. There's no competition here. There are people out there that want you, that will respond
Exactly.
to the way you work and the way you teach.
Absolutely.
And I was sitting there fretting and worrying about how was I going to do, what was I going to do. And I had that little epiphany that said, there are people out there that want to work with you. You just have to be available for them to find you. And so I have found that I have a new client that a year ago, a friend set up a deal where a bunch of us went to an ice hockey game in DC, and I sat next to him and we struck up a conversation. I do not even remember having talked to him about my coaching at
Mm-hmm.
that time. And I get a text out of the blue from him saying, I need you.
Wow.
I need for you to teach me. And so I think that the vision workshop is probably the best way, but certainly what you're doing for people where you allow us to come on your platform and talk is instrumental in finding people also.
Yeah.
And so just getting the word out. So my sister's church in Georgia is a Unity church, which very much goes along with what I teach in so many ways. And they're without a minister. So they've asked me to speak once a month.
Wow.
So, I'm doing that. It gives me a chance to look at what I know and what I'm teaching and put it in a different context. And
Right.
do that. But it's a way for me to be seen by people and getting out there.
Yeah, that's a great venue. That's a great venue, and I know that you have done a lot of speaking in the past, so that's not a problem for you, because a lot of people have a problem getting
Right.
up on stage and speaking, even live videos on Facebook. So many people have. That is why Clubhouse is becoming so popular, because you don't need the live video. It's just all spoken. You can get out of bed and be on Clubhouse,
Right.
even before you brush your teeth. And so, that's the new thing. So how do you connect with them emotionally? Because, that's what relationships are. You have to connect emotionally with your clients. So,
I think it's a matter of getting to know them. And one of the things I always do is when I'm doing a workshop, I don't sell from the stage. I'm not trying to sell my services there, but I offer them a free hour.
Okay.
That they can sign up for a strategy session with me. And we will look at what their dream is, or if they even know what it is, and so forth like that. And that's a time for me to really find out if we're a good fit. If they are really interested in growing themselves and learning.
Right.
And I think it's as much intuition on both of our parts. I don't want to work with somebody that's just not going to do the job. I want them to succeed. And if I get that feeling emotionally or however that they're not going to do the work that's needed, then I don't want to take their money.
Right.
Really. And so I think that's the time when I really see how it's going to feel. And then if we work together, I think we develop that emotional work, relationship with each other as we go through the things, because certainly everything I do is confidential, because often I have to be told things that they probably wouldn't tell their best friend. But if we're going to change it, then we need to know it, that's that awareness. So I think we do grow together there as coach and client, and develop that emotional bonding.
I have, it is a bond, and I have to say that it's almost like looking for a partner in marriage, because
it really is.
It is a marriage of some sort. Now, I interview a lot of transformational coach. My program is a KBB program, and of course, I have a lot of friends who came out of Mary Morrissey, and I took Mary Morrissey as a personal development. I was not interested in coaching. I just liked her spirituality. I took every course that she had, and some of them I didn't need at the time, but I didn't care. I just liked her message. And so, so since there are so many transformational coaches, how do you think you stand out?
I think what I try to do is I have her programs that I use because I think, I mean, when I started this, I was thinking you look out there at other people that are working and they're developing their own DVDs or other programs and things. And I thought, I'm not trying to start a big empire. I'm trying to do what I love doing. I've retired. I've already been that route. And so I don't need to do all of that. And I think Mary's programs are so sound and so repeatable for good results that now, and saying that, I do bring my own stuff into it. And all often, because I've been reading this material myself for years and all. And as somebody has something that they bring up, that I may have another story or something from somewhere else. Right now with clients, if they're open to it, I'm bringing in emotional freedom technique or tapping. And that's not part of the programs really, but it depends on the individual and if I feel like they could benefit from it. So it's about me using Mary's stuff because it is so wonderful. I do think it's very sound in its structure and everything, but I do add my twist to it.
Right. Do you feel that you find solutions for your people, or are you kind of the bridge that you take them where they are and take them to where they want to go? I mean,
right. You ask a lot of questions to get information. You don't tell them what they need to do, but you let them find it on their own. And you can help them do that by asking questions and getting them to think, about this. Because I think what I see so often, the first thing I see so often is the hardest thing my clients have to do is write that vision statement. They can't. No matter how much you tell them that you want to write pictures, you want to see it in your mind, they end up being very esoteric, and that I want to walk with peace. And we go back and we spend several weeks as we're doing other stuff, getting that vision statement written. And also you do a lot of questioning of them. And I think it helps them find it. As I find myself as a coach, I'm teaching, but I'm also encouraging them to find how that teaching fits into their life and how they can utilize it. I may make suggestions at times, but I try not to most of the time unless they're not understanding or getting with it. So it varies so much with each individual.
Right, it does. It does. You just have to know each one, and it's building that relationship. That's what it is. It's all about relationships. Now, and I know that you're very proud of the time that you spend with your children and your grandchildren, and so therefore, your work week is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is what you do.
That's right. I have said that again, I'm not trying to build the McCallum empire here, that I'm doing something I love. So I have set it up that basically I am seeing clients Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I have the weekends free. I do have one now that the big challenge was time, and that what we call time and money freedom,
Right.
Time freedom, that it was going to be impossible. So I've agreed to work with him on a weekend, but I made it very clear that we had to be flexible.
Right. Okay.
That we might have to move it around at times on that weekend. But yeah, I try to keep it to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Well, that's great. That's great. And it's so important to balance your life. At one point I was enjoying so much what I was doing, but I was like in front of the computer and I didn't like that. And I thought, oh my God, of course, COVID had a lot to do with it. I wasn't playing tennis that I love. I wasn't playing bridge at the Duplicate Bridge Club. And then I stopped all of a sudden. I went, no, I got to balance my life out. So I started taking tennis lessons only because only two of us and we could keep the distance. And then I went, I went online to start playing some bridge. I just needed to balance my life. And I mean, you know, it's not all about, because it's mental health also and physical health.
I love kayaking and being outside. I haven't been able to do it for a long time because I had a shoulder injury, and now I'm just waiting for the spring so I can get back out there again. But I have gone out with my grandsons, and we've paddled along with beavers and watched egrets and eagles skim across the water and grab fish. And I love being out there doing that, and I love doing it with my family too, my kids or my grandkids. It's important to me, and so it's important for me to have that time.
Absolutely. You have to be as healthy mentally, physically, as, you know, if you're going to help anybody else anyway. So
right, you really do, and I think I'm trying to make sure I keep some of that
absolutely
in my life. And like I said, the good thing about coaching is I can do it from anywhere, so I don't have to be in my office in my home in North Carolina. I can do it in my daughter's home in Richmond.
Absolutely. That's so great. So, you know, I love that we can collaborate, because you know, my work is doing the work before people need the coaching. So, you know, it's extracting that knowledge, extracting that expertise, you know, and so there's so many people, you know, women, especially single women, especially over 60, who need to, you know, look at life differently. I mean, these are different times, and you know, and they need to do something to take care of themselves. And I have found I love what I do. I'm so excited that I can help so many people, and you know, and wonderful people like you who when my job is, your job is never done, but it's a good transition, you know, to
I think what you're doing, Lucy, is wonderful. It's wonderful that you're bringing all of these different people to your people that watch your show and everything. You know, I think one of the things that I see often too is that we don't realize how much power we have. That the power is within us, and we let circumstances around us dictate how powerful we think we are. And that's one of the first things I try to change, is understanding you have a lot of power. And I think what you're doing is so powerful. I say that because it is. You're introducing your clientele to all sorts of different entrepreneurs. And I think I certainly am very blessed to feel that I am on your show. You know, so.
and hope it won't be the last time. So, you know, I have to, so if any of my people who are listening wanted to reach out to you, of course, I have the tickler below that they can contact you by email, and it's jamestmccallum@gmail.com. And let's not forget the T there, James T.
That stands for children. So.
Okay, McCallum, or by your website, right? And your website is, let's see, and I think that's the next thing that they can go to and see. I'm playing with these little ticklers. I just love this. I love the techie stuff that I'm learning. So there's Dr. James T. Callum's website, and it's simply jamestmccallum.com.
And there is an area on the website for contacting me, whether you send me an email or if someone is interested in meeting up or talking with me. Be sure you include a phone number and the best time to call you, and I will call you back as soon as possible, and we can talk.
Okay, so great. So consultation is always good. So thank you very much, Jim. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you for your lovely presence here, and we will certainly keep in contact, because we are collaborating for sure. And so I'm going to bid you goodbye, and then just have a few words with my. I'm going to put you in the green room, as they call it, and just say goodbye to my listeners. Go ahead.
Thank you again, Lucy.
All right, folks. And now, if you have a story, an awesome story, and you would like to be interviewed, do message me and let's make that happen. We are here to help people who want to start an online business, don't know where to start, who to trust. We can help. We have lots of different ways of helping you. So do not hesitate to contact me, message me, and I can give you some direction. And certainly would love to interview you. So goodbye for this week, and we'll see you next week with our next awesome guest, Gabriel Rivera. And so we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.